Munciana Courtside, Show 9, Season 6. Obviously anxious to get started. Had to go without the big fella's dragging today. Sectional time. Let's go.
It's here.
Let's go.
All right. One of the games we didn't get to touch on last week was Thursday through the weekend. Two games that we talked about. DeWinger actually hosted on their senior night Heritage. And Heritage got handled about 15 across the board.
And those are the type of games that, we saw all last week. There's a little separation going on. And at this time of year, you're going to start to see separation, and it's the guys that do the simple things really well on a regular basis are going to separate.
Yep.
DeWinger, better team, and we wanted to see where Heritage was. It needed a barometer match, and there you go, DeWinger with the sweep.
No doubt. Saturday afternoon, actually, Yorktown swept Center Grove.
Yeah, Yorktown is very, very good. There's a news flash for you. Take that one to the bank. Center Grove, I'm a little confused right now. As I talked to you earlier today, I really thought that Center Grove would prosper by MJ Hamill being out. I thought that, a lot of guys had the opportunity to play, and there would be a deeper team and a more well-rounded team, and you'd have a rested MJ Hamill. And this team has taken two bad sweeps in back-to-back weeks, HSE and Yorktown. Not saying bad because of the level of their opponent. Great opponents. HSE and Yorktown are great teams. But I guess I didn't see Center Grove getting swept by anybody at this time of the year. I thought with that many seniors, with that kind of leadership, with that kind of, the first ball contacts are really pretty good with that. The second ball contact is as good as anybody in the state with Hamill. Solid middles. I'm just a little surprised. I don't know if there's guys missing or if they're beat up. It doesn't really matter. At this point, if you're at Center Grove, you lost your last exhibition game. Because to this point, even though we've ranked and talked about match after match, and some people cry after matches, some people cheer after matches, the bottom line is none of them matter. You worked with the little girl this morning and told her that her mantra for her school moving forward is win your next game. Mm-hmm. Just win the next game. The team, like I said, as long as you win your last game from this point on, you had a pretty darn good season.
No doubt. So we'll talk about the court side, talk about sectional that are going to stick out to us. 1A. It's one of those things. 1A is very spread out. I looked at not many teams had multiple ranked teams in their sectionals. And the other thing is, within 1A schools, you had a lot of small sectionals, 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
So very quick weekends. Two that really stood out to me was 54, which is the LCC, and the really is because Covington. Covington's like 17-9, right on the top 10 border right there. And that could be an interesting first game out of the gate.
Yeah, and that sectional has been the LCC invite for the last several years. You always run the risk of letting down. I don't think that's the case there. That's a solid sectional. And
then 52, the only reason, like you've known over the years, Southwood has been to the dance multiple times, really pretty decently far. We've had to take them down when we were on the way to the state championships.
And they've been in state championships.
Yeah.
They've been there. Southwood and Northfield are huge rivals. That's one of my favorite things about sectionals is you get some of these rivalry. We talked last week about seeding the whole tournament. I think it's impossible, and I think it would create havoc. And we argued a little about that, but I think the one thing you lose is the inherent rivalries.
Correct.
That was one of the things when we went to class system in the state of Indiana that everybody was upset that it ruined some traditional rivalries. This is a rivalry game, and sectionals still have that feel to them. Southwood, Northfield, always rivals for years. And, both those programs are a little less than what they once were, but they're both still very good programs. Tom Finnicle, a lifetimer at Southwood.
Yep, and Northfield's probably got the second best record in that sectional.
Oh, yeah.
And then that winner will end up getting Pioneer, which should be the overall favorite in that one.
And Pioneers would be the overall favorite in their sectional and in that regional.
Correct.
Maybe the overall favorite for the state championship at the end of the day. It really depends what shakes out with semi-state and regional, but they're awfully good.
Some of the sectionals in 2A, if you want to hit on them a little bit there.
Well, Lapel is always a good sectional. And over the years, it's been an incredible sectional. At one time, that group hosted Alexandria. Well, it was Wapahani, Burris, and Alexandria. They were 1, 2, and 3 in the class. And the top 3 teams were in one sectional at one time. Now that it's dropped off a little bit. Frankton always got good athletes and has had a really good year.
Yep.
Playing against a Wapahani team that was rolling. They were flat out rolling, and then they got rolled this weekend at Columbus East. They get nicked. They'd only been hit by Yorktown. The only team that had beat them was Yorktown twice, which is not a bad loss. But they took in some water this weekend at the Columbus East tournament and lost, I think, 4 times. And so that's a tough weekend for a Wapahani team. It'll be interesting to see how they regroup. I still see Wapahani as a team that can come out in 2A and win a state championship. I also see Wapahani as a favorite in that sectional, even over a very athletic Frankton team.
Another one is 44. The reason why I liked it is I looked at it. Every team in that sectional is over 500.
That's a rarity.
Yeah.
That is a rarity.
Host is Cloverdale. It's 44. It's got Southmont is a really pretty good team. They were here for summer camp and really athletic, do some good things. North Putnam is kind of the team that I think could possibly pull that out. The dark horse would be Cloverdale. Cloverdale last year had their big first season where they got 20 wins in probably about 15 years. They have about 7 or 8 seniors that did the camp this summer, so it'd be fun to see those guys.
That'll be fun. The sheer fact that every team in there is a competitive team.
Should be a great one.
It's sectional time. Sometimes you get those matches that are just not fair.
Correct.
This should be a really entertaining sectional to watch.
Yep. Sectionals to watch in 3A. It's one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like this sectional. It's Garrett and Angola. That sectional 22 is out of Angola. Garrett versus Angola should be really interesting. Both teams really outstanding records. Both teams really outstanding years. Both teams have a couple of kids that are, Angola's already got a young lady going to Ball State. Garrett's setter will play Division I volleyball and follow in her sister's footsteps. D1 players abound in that game. And the other side of it's Leo and Concordia. Concordia has been the beast up there for the last 10 years. And Leo is proven they can beat some people. They're loaded athletically. And so, I like that. I like that end of it. Then you start to throw in...
On that same half, you
start to throw in, Bishop Lure's team that has good athletes. Probably going to draw the short straw because they get Dwinger. and Dwinger would be my favorite to win that. But keep in mind, Garrett is capable of beating a good Angola team. Angola is very capable of winning it because they've beaten Dwinger, who we just said is our favorite. Leo and Concordia are both dangerous. I mean, Dwinger, I think, is your favorite, but they're going to have to go through a tough route to get there. That, I believe, is...
That's your best bang for your buck right there that week.
I think so. I've said early on in the season, I thought it was the best sectional. Usually sectional 8, we're going to talk about it in a minute. It was always a good sectional. And maybe the best sectional over time, but sectional 22, I believe this year may be the most competitive sectional in the state of Indiana.
I agree. 23 should be a good one too. Belmont's hosting. Belmont's starting to hit their stride a little bit. They won a couple games recently. They got a good Delta team now, starting to find their way along the way. They had a horrible start to the year, and they were frustrated with injuries. And then you beat a Heritage Christian team this weekend.
Whitney Stewart is put together, it's been a really weird year for her at Delta. She's tried everybody at everything, and I love how she thinks outside the box. She's got kids playing in different positions. She's got setters setting 3 rotations, 1 rotation. She's just trying to put her best players in a position to hit the ball and touch the ball on a regular basis, which is what you need to do. She is absolutely outside the box. Anybody that's scouting Delta is going to enjoy it because
you can't watch one film.
Yeah, you can't watch one film, and if you're going to get film, you may want to get it from this past weekend because they were very good at Columbus East and got beat in the championship of a Columbus East tournament that's always very competitive, and they got beat by Columbus East in that. But this Delta team is dangerous. We've said it all year long. They've got kids, they've got Division I kids on that team, and they were just trying to find each other, and Whitney was trying to find what she was going to do. Belmont, Craig Kroll's group, always good, always athletic, got a very good, solid pen, will match up well with Molly Hunt from Delta. On the other end of it, Burris and Heritage. Burris is a legacy program, maybe the most renowned program in the history of the state. You know, this is then, this isn't, I mean, this is now, not then. And so it's incumbent upon Burris to start to rebuild their legacy. And this is a good start.
Yep.
Heritage and Castleman and the crew will not be an easy match. And it's a losable match for Burris. Burris could win this, Delta could win this, Heritage could win this, Belmont could win this. It's kind of Fort Wayne versus Muncie in that sense. And I think, to be honest, I would not be surprised to see this come down to Delta and Burris in the finals of that sectional.
You know, after hearing about what Delta did this weekend, I would agree with you. Heritage, I think they do have some holes. That's what's going to hurt them. If they can get those 3 rotations with Castleman in the back row, I think they got a shot. But that's the kryptonite for them.
Delta's got a little Chatard to him right now.
Yeah.
You know, Chatard, that one year that came into the tournament under 500, wins 7-8 straight games and wins a state championship. You know, what went from a really bad season to a season of a life.
Yeah.
Delta is a team that has got the talent to be dangerous in 3A.
Yep.
And they've got a shot.
Yep.
They've got a legitimate shot.
I agree. And what will be kind of cool too, sectional 22 and sectional 23 will be in the same regional. So we're talking about that just even adding into it at that point. So sectionals to watch in 4A, a couple ones that the definite one that we all know, sectional 9. Everybody's not even talking about who's going to be in the final. It's really that semifinal is going to be the game to watch. But there is a good side to the other side.
But
that's going to be
dangerous.
That's your prize fight, though.
Yeah. See how you win your next game.
Mm-hmm.
Win your next game. I think everybody's got to win on Thursday in this sectional. I think on Saturday, Yorktown and Newcastle is a clash of the Titans. And I think that is going to be an absolute war. I think that what you're going to see is Newcastle trying to defend the house. You're going to see a Yorktown team trying to defend their history, their legacy, their world. I mean, they don't lose. You know, and so Yorktown will be very motivated to come in there, and Newcastle will be very motivated to move on. And so everybody's saying, and this is where things get really dangerous, if you believe the press clippings and if you listen to all the minutia, Yorktown, Newcastle, whoever wins that game is going to have to rev it back up. Because on the other side is Mount Vernon, who's quietly had the best year in the history of the school. And they're playing against Pendleton Heights, who may be the most improved program in the state of Indiana. You know, Pendleton Heights, I watched Pendleton Heights play in Newcastle, and it was, give or take a few points here and there, but Pendleton Heights in the middle of the court is as good as anybody in the state of Indiana. Setting has improved massively. They've got 2 little ball handlers that can take care of it. They got a great outside hitter in Avery Ross. You know, Mount Vernon and Beaumont's against Ross in their big middle would be a great match to watch. But there's no walkthroughs there. Those 4 games, those semifinals, that would be a great ticket.
Yeah.
But whoever wins the semi better realize that it was just a semi. And the mantra, win your next game. Yep. Survive and advance. Whatever the heck you're going to call it this time of year. That's the big one. And so, you know, a lot of times people will go, well, that's our state championship. No, it's not. That's a semifinal of a sectional.
Correct. And then we got sectional 8. We talked about that year in and year out, just phenomenal. Zionsville's back in that one.
Yeah.
They got rid of Anderson and a couple of other people. It's only an 8-team, or no, sorry, a 4-team. So you got your semifinals. You got 5 teams, sorry, because you got Zionsville waiting in the
bye.
The bye. So you got Fishers and Noblesville. And they're going to, actually it's 6 because they got Carmel in that semifinal.
Fishers and Noblesville will be an interesting game. It's, you know, Almodovar's last game. And so it's in our home court.
Yeah.
Could be an interesting match. You know, you got it's the last game for a mother and a daughter. Mom coaches, daughter plays. There's a little bit of added, you know, fire there. Fishers is playing to stay above 500.
13-13 on
this could end their year, and they could end up under 500. So there's motivation there. You know, Carmel in the semi. Carmel, I was really, I really thought that when I saw Maryland, the season would be dangerous, really dangerous late in the season. And I haven't seen them the last couple of weeks to see if they're getting it going again. But they really hit a little mid-season slump there. They kind of surprised me. On the other end, HSC Westfield will get Zionsville. Whoever wins HSC Westfield. You know, and Westfield's very dangerous. Mackenzie Daphne can go off at the net or behind the service line. Zionsville has a great history with Rich Coleman, and they've done some nice things over the last couple of years. HSC's the best team in this region, but this region has always been a war to get. This section, I should say, has always been a war to get out of. This is traditionally been the best section of the state,
and it should be a phenomenal one again.
It'll be fun. There's a lot of parity in that group. Like I said, I think this comes down to who's playing the best volleyball at the right time, because a lot of these guys can play.
Yeah,
all of them have a chance.
Yep. We're going to talk about our next little part. We're going to talk about what we kind of started predicting at the start of the season back in episode 1. We had the check it, fold it all in. So we're going to go with a little poker for you here.
I'm a horrible poker player.
You know what?
But I'm all right. I know when to hold and when to fold.
Our 1A, we had at the start of the summer, or at the end of the summer, LCC Pioneer coming out of the north against Hauser or Trinity Lutheran in the south.
Ooh.
Now there have some people that came into the picture.
Go. I know you want to say it.
You're looking on the south. You got Lagodi.
Lagoti's had a great year.
And they
great year.
Maybe might be the best overall team in the south. And then you got, like you talked about with Callan a little bit. Callan's up there in the 1A. That can make it interesting. That'll be that LCC regional. Those would be my the pods of 3 right there.
So know when to hold, know when to fold, and know when to walk away, know when to run. I like all 4 of those teams. Are you asking me?
Are you gonna
say that one of those
with those predictions?
One of those 4 teams wins the state championship? Is that what you're saying, or?
Am I saying out of the north, you LCC and Pioneer? Are you are you checking that? You keeping that? Are you folding it? Or heck, are you gonna go all in? You saying this for sure? You're gonna win that with those guys. You're a sealed deal. You could bet the house on it. Feel comfortable.
I'm more sure of LCC Pioneer being there than Hauser Trinity Lutheran.
Yeah,
I know that's going to cause trouble in your house. Callan is the one team that I would wonder can get in here. I'm going to fold my South.
So am I.
I'm going to fold my South.
I'm going with Lagodi.
I like Lagodi as well.
I'm with you on that one.
Wow. I'm going to fold on the North. I'm going to fold on the North, even though I really, the team that worries me, I think Callan may be the best team in the North right now. The team that worries me is Pioneer. I think it'll come down to Pioneer and Callan. I think Callan, we'll talk about it in the regional show. I think Callan will win the sectional. I think Callan will beat LCC. I think Pioneer and Callan is where it is. So I wouldn't completely fold my hand. I think Pioneer and Callan are going to be there.
Correct, and I kind of thought that too. That's the reason why I said I would fold that, is because I think Callan is going to be in that thing. So that's why I would go with a double fold. So me and you spot on right there. I was wondering how it would go there. I didn't know if you'd disagree. 2A, interesting.
I was spot on because I'm talking from an analytics standpoint. He was spot on because he can't go home tonight if he chooses against Callan. But that's another day, another story. Go.
You know what? Maybe it'll all go.
Go.
Out of the north, we had Wapahani and Drain. And Drain's been a little bit up and down this year.
Yeah, they have.
But Wapahani's had a pretty great year. In the south, Heritage Christian and Bar Reeve.
I'm all in on both.
Ooh.
Yep, I'm all in on both. I still believe in Wapahani to get out of there. I really think that that they've done a remarkable job with the young team. And I've all year long I've been preaching the pros of Heritage Christian. I love how well set they are. I love the fact that they have a middle attack at the 2A level. Sometimes that's missing a little bit. They've got the best 2A. They got the best middle attacker in 2A. Maybe the best middle attacker in the state.
I can't say that I thought in 1A and 2A we were going to be 100% correct on it, because here's the thing. Bar Reeve, I think, is very dangerous. I think they might be better than Heritage Christian at this point. They have the best athlete, but Bar Reeve has had a really great year.
Bar Reeve's always
and
good.
handled everybody in the South.
No. So we
And Dran, I would definitely fold, get out of here. I'm not bringing you.
That's why
But I don't see anybody can be Wapahani in the North. I think they have the best shot in the North. All in, chips are in, I'm with you.
that decision was totally based on analytics, and unless he's a polygamist, then I think that you got to give him credit for that one. Next,
3A.
you know what a polygamist is, yes?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's more than one wife, son.
Gotcha.
And if that's the case, don't talk about it. Go.
3A, we talked about the North. We talked about Dwenger, Muncie Burris. South, we were talking about Northview, Silver Creek. I'll start us off.
Go.
Northview, Silver Creek. Fold. I don't know who the heck's going to come out of the South. I can't figure it out. Could be Brebeuf one day. The next day it could be somebody else. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So I'm not feeling it. I'm getting rid of it before I throw all my money out.
I'm folding Northview, Silver Creek as well.
Out the North, Dwenger, Burris. This one's difficult. I'm not gonna raise. I'm checking. I'm just staying where we're at. And the reason why is I'm not throwing extra money in there because Dwenger has a heck of a hard of a schedule to get out of.
I'm raising.
Oh yeah.
Your state champion, I think, is going to be one of those two teams.
I think it should be, but that sectional scares the shoot out of me.
That's nice. That's a nice catch. Polygamous and foul mouth.
There we go.
All right. I like that. I'm holding there.
Okay.
Or raising.
I like it. 4A. 4A, we talked about the North, Newcastle, Yorktown.
All in. Okay. All in on that. I'm still all in on Newcastle, Yorktown. They're just two really good teams. One of those two. Obviously one's not going to make it, but man, I have a hard time seeing the other not.
Yep.
So.
In the South, we talked about that sectional 8 being that one. We really had high hopes for Fishers at the start of the year. I definitely did. And then HSC we knew was going to have a great year, and they've been right then and there. The only thing that's dangerous, you got McCutcheon waiting in the.
Yeah. Fisher's a team that took a set off of a Yorktown team that barely loses a set. Fisher's just they're not dead. The most dangerous animal is an injured one, and Fisher's has been beat up all year long and beat on. I mean, everybody's made comment, and Fisher's plays a brutal schedule. So when you look and say they're 13-13, well, there's no easy games.
It's like I told you, Max Preps.
No, they're they deserve a little more love than what people are giving them. Now, do I think that they've got enough left in the tank to get home? No, I would fold on them. HSE, McCutcheon's still sitting there. If they get out of sectional, HSE hadn't won a sectional in an awful long time, and HSE is going to have to take it one game at a time to get out. I mean, what are you doing there? I've got my call. I'm holding on those guys. I'm going to stay with HSE as a team that's going to.
You're just calling, checking.
I'm checking. I'm keeping HSE in. See, I don't know poker, but I have faith in this HSE team to get through. I'm still holding on that. I mean, checking. The only team that would make me hesitate would be McCutcheon.
Make it happen, Jason Young.
All in. Well, here we go. I like it.
And I'm going with only HSE.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Fishers, I love you. I don't think you got it in the cards, but McCutcheon, I think we'll fall to HSE. We'll see as it comes the next week. We'll might be talking about how dumb I am at this point, lost money.
You've been hot lately.
We'll see. Gear Munciana, last week we do the rankings.
Yes.
Heading to the tournament. Kind of give us a feel of where we're at. You're looking at it across the board, a lot of great teams. Right now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of the top 10 are 4A schools. Nice. So we all know when this next week comes through, that's why we don't do the rankings, because 4 to 5, 6 of them are probably going to be out. I mean, we're going to talk about 1 and 2. One of those two are not going to be here next year.
Yeah, well, let's start with some of the teams I think that deserve mention. 1A, Pioneer Cowan. Almost 50 wins between them, 9 losses total. Yeah. One of those two teams I think will win a state championship. I really do. I love both of those teams. 2A, I think you got to give some love to Bar Reeve and Hagerstown. You know, Bar Reeve
They're a dark
29
horse
and
for that one,
29
too.
2. Bar Reeve is a dark horse. Wapahani, you know, is in that same thing, but all those guys are good. We've already talked about Wapahani. Frankton is 27 and 2, and Wapahani's got to regroup after a brutal weekend with a bunch of young kids who've never lost before and go back into Frankton. So Frankton 27 and 2, Hagerstown 26-3, Bar Reeve 29 and 2. Those are all 2A teams that don't get a lot of love. Throw Wapahani into that mix as well. 3A, Greensburg 26 and 1, Northwestern 28 and 2. People always say, well, what about who are they playing?
Correct.
Hey, brother, you win 26 to 27 matches. I don't care who you're playing. You know, that's pretty good volleyball.
Yep.
You know, and I've got to give credit to those two programs. In Castle at 27 and 4 in the 4A, probably deserves a little love, and it's a school that's always produced great athletes.
And they're going to be down there with that Floyd Central sectional, that area. You know,
yeah.
You're going to run into Providence sooner than later.
Well, and that's the issue. Yep. You know, but all those teams are good.
Yep. All right.
Top 10, last top 10 of the year. And so this will be the last hate mail we get for the year. Number 10, Crown Point. And I know people are surprised to see me go back to them. I have a lot of faith in Chacon. I have a lot of faith in the coaching. I have a lot of faith in history. You know, Crown Point has been there. They know what they're getting into right now, but more importantly, they know what they're losing. I put Crown Point at 10 based on what their work of art, their body of work this year, 25 wins. But the sheer fact that they know how the thing works. You know, it's you want to be in a rhythm. That's one of the things that Yorktown has. It goes for them. It's the same thing that Cathedral had years ago.
Name on the shirt.
Muncie Central had years ago. They had a big name and it scared people off. But the other thing was they knew the routine. They weren't reinventing themselves for the postseason. They went into it and already had the template. Crown Point has the template, and I put them at 10.
Yep, and that'll be fun because that'll be a semi-state battle with HSC or whoever ends up making it to that area. So that'll be a good one. All right, number 9.
Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon's had a really good year. You know, they've had, their losses have been pretty good losses. They had lost to Wapahani that kind of shook me up a couple weeks ago, but I'm putting them back up there. The only difference between really Mount Vernon and Crown Point at this point is Mount Vernon is on the other end of the spectrum. They don't know what to do much beyond sectionals because they've really never advanced. I think this may be the best Mount Vernon team that they've ever had. And, you know, kudos to Eric Beaumont and the gang. They've done a wonderful job. I have them at 9.
Number 8.
Evansville Memorial, their only loss was, we talked about it, they haven't had a lot of great wins.
Correct.
But their only loss was in September or August. I mean, all they've done is rip off about 25 straight wins. And I just said this, winning is not the easiest thing to do. Keeping your kids up every day, keeping your kids motivated to play, avoiding somebody picking you off randomly. I mean, for God's sakes, college football, South Carolina beats Georgia. I mean, that can't happen. That's what I'm talking about. The only way the lesser team ever wins is if they care more. And Evansville Memorial's cared an awful lot this year.
Oh yeah,
26 and 1. They're my 8.
Yep. No. I agree 100%.
No arguments.
No arguments. All right, number 7.
Center Grove.
We'll drop.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, back-to-back losses. To really good teams. HSE got them the week prior. Yorktown gets them this time. On a really tough match to play, a Saturday before sectionals, and you're trying to get ready for sectionals. It's a sleeper game, but Yorktown beat them legit, and Center Grove's just kind of rallied the troops. They got to realize that 8-9 seniors, the match you play on Thursday could be the last match of your career.
Correct.
Of your career. The last time you ever play with these young ladies ever again. I read the article in the Indy Star where Eck was referencing growing up with Hamill, and it was really a unique article. It was really a good article, very well done. And one of the things you got to look at is these guys have been together for an awful long time. If Center Grove can decide that they're not ready to end that, and they want this party to go to the distance, then it could be fun. But they've got to remember the next time they lose, they're done.
Yep.
And all of these things that they've done for their life with those 8-9 kids are over forever.
Yep. Moving on up, number 6.
HSE is my number 6. All they did was win last week. They did have a good win against Center Grove a week ago. HSE is in a really good spot at 23-4. They've had 4 good losses, if that's such a thing. The Heritage Christian loss was a tough one, but they've had losses to teams. I just told you I think Heritage Christian is going to be in the hunt for a 2A state championship. HSE has got to realize that if you win the state championship, you've obviously won a sectional. They're so hung up on not winning sectionals. Well, if you win the state championship, you obviously won your sectional. Gear yourself towards winning the next game. Next game mentality. We go, it doesn't matter how pretty it was, how ugly it was, survive, advance. And your goal at this point is to win the last game you play this year. None of the other games matter. None of the rankings matter. None of the honors matter. Win your last game. And to win your last game, if you're a school like HSE, I said it last week, you're going to have to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. They're going to have to pass it, serve it, set it, and hit it really, really well. You don't have to do anything special. They have to be really, really good at being vanilla. And I think they have a shot.
Yep. Top 5.
Dwenger. Dwenger's really been a neat team all year long. They've got great athletes. They got great, their coaching is really, really solid. If they can get out of that sectional, you made a good comment when I said I like Dwenger in 3A. Your comment is very good. They've got a war to get there. And keep this in mind, they've weathered that war in that sectional the last 2 years.
They have.
Only to get picked off by Newcastle in what could be the best matches Newcastle's had to play over the last 2 years. Dwenger's, the only reason they haven't got 2 state championships is they've had to go through a proverbial hell to get there.
Correct.
Dwenger is a top 5 team. Dwenger needs to now play like a top 5 team. If Dwenger plays like a top 5 team based on these rankings, that will make them the best 3A team in the state of Indiana
100%.
Because in front of them are all 4A teams.
Correct.
And so if they can play like a top 5 team, then they're gonna be the number 1 team in 3A.
I agree. Number 4.
McCutcheon, 27-1, and they are dangerous. We talked about the check it and all in and whatever your poker thing was. I'm not even sure who you are anymore. You've been going crazy with these predictions. You're kind of, I don't know, you're going Vegas on me. But McCutcheon is, I think, one of the most dangerous teams left in this. I said early on when, HSU was all jacked up if they get through the sectional. We need to look at that as when we get to the sectional. But McCutcheon will be waiting, and they are really a nasty next game. You're going to have to be ready to play against these guys. They're athletically kind of a mismatch. They got some young athletes that can flat out play. Chacoin kid is real deal, and they've got senior leadership. So they got that crazy energy that the young kids bring, and they got that crazy stabilization that the old kids bring. McCutcheon's dangerous.
Definitely. And the other team lurking, number 3.
Providence. Providence is really, really good.
Yep.
And I tell you, I love the fact that they run away and hide at this stage of the game. We haven't talked about a meaningful match from Providence in the last couple of weeks.
I heard about them.
No, they just go and hide. And Terry Parika is a master of this and as good a coach as there is in the country. Not the state of Indiana, in the country. Very, very good coach. This team plays with a lot of heart, intensity, and enthusiasm. This is as good a team. When I talk about teams, I'm talking culture, I'm talking unity, I'm talking those type of team things as there is every year. This year, though, they've got a lot of guys that can play. We were talking about those 8 or 9 kids at Center Grove that are seniors. Providence got sisters galore on that team. Heck, sisters with the mom that's a coach. I mean, you talk about all of those little things that are woven into the soul of the team. These guys have a lot of reason to play harder than normal. And I like that Providence team.
Yep.
Any one of these 4 teams I'm listing at the end here can win it.
Oh, yeah. We could be talking about Providence and McCutcheon being in that finals if those guys make a couple little runs here.
Couple of plays.
All right, number 2.
Yorktown. All Yorktown does is all Yorktown does, which is they win, they play solid volleyball. They let you beat yourself. I will tell you that I think I will be amazed. I will be amazed if Newcastle sweeps them. I will be amazed if you don't see massive changes in Yorktown's approach to that game. You know, the other thing that Yorktown does have in their favor is Ellie Stinson's healthy now. She had a bad hand in the last one. It'll be really intriguing to see because Yorktown is, you know, Steph Bloom is a master at scouting and manipulating lineups and manipulating moments, and I think that team is going to be ready to play. But they're very, very good, and they're the number 2 team in this week's poll.
Yeah, with the number 1, they're 55-2 on the year. Those 2 records.
55-2.
Your number 1 team.
Yorktown's only lost to Newcastle.
Yep.
Newcastle has done a remarkable job after that.
20 straight.
Yeah, after that loss to arguably one of the best teams in America, Assumption. In a match, I would think that Newcastle may want back. The mojo and mentality that Newcastle's playing with right now is not the same mojo mentality they had going into Assumption.
Correct.
This team is a little more focused, a little more locked in. Haven't lost a set since then.
They're 74-4 in sets this year.
Yeah, that's remarkable. You know, if Yorktown hadn't gone off and did what they did last year, people would be talking about that as historic. Newcastle just really, really, really has impressed me with their ability to hold it all together. You know, a lot of moving parts there. This team is capable of doing something very magical. If they can roll this out and win this season and finish this on a run, this has been as good a year as you could humanly have. You know, like I said, barring Yorktown's year last year, this has been one of the real memorable runs that I've seen in the last couple of years. You had the Cathedral run with Kendall White, Megan Sloan, and whatnot, and some of the runs by Central. This ranks right up there with those. And Sarah Roush will have them ready to play. And it's going to be interesting. At this time of year, you don't tell people you're hungry, you show them. Yep. And hopefully these guys come with their bibs on and ready to go. But number 1 team in the state of Indiana right now, in my mind, is Newcastle High School.
Get out and watch the games. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, my God. You know, a couple of good things that, you know, if you're in the Fort Wayne area, you can't miss. Sectional 22 and 23 are really good. If you're in the Muncie area, Sectional 9 is off the charts. If you're in the Indy area, Sectional 8 will blow your mind. Yeah. I think that there's not a bad ticket. You know, catch as much as you can, and as always, enjoy what you see. It's a great state for volleyball. Until next week, be good sports fans.